Hi, Ushaji. Hello. Hi, I'm just waiting for Priya to join this conversation. Hello, Shravan. Hi, Kavita. How's it going? Hi, Amma, Appa. Good, I'm glad. Hi, Sonali. There is Priya. So, Priya, hi, I'm going to send you a request and you just have to accept the request. Hi, Raji.
Hi.
Hi, Priya.
Hi.
You can't hear me?
No, I can't hear you very well. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Am I audible? I think I'm fairly audible. Um,
Can you keep speaking? Yes.
you
I
can't hear
can.
me at all?
I can.
Okay, good. Lovely, Priya, looking lovely.
Lovely to see you too, Akhila.
I know. Is there an echo?
Not for me. Is it there for you?
I think there is an echo that I hear. Supriya, anybody who's joined, could you just tell me if you're hearing an echo? Yes, there is an echo. Okay. Okay, I think it should sort of settle on its own because I've usually not had this problem. Okay. Okay. Priya, shall we just re-log in?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll just reconnect. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, there was an echo. Is it okay now, guys? Somebody just give me a thumbs up. Raji, it's okay? No more echo. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, lovely. Priya, just give me a moment. Firstly, I want to thank you so much for being a part of the
Yes,
Hindu
sure.
Weekends Lockdown with Weekend. Just allow me a moment to formally introduce you. I'm sure most people who've logged in really know who you are and you don't really need an introduction. But for those who probably are joining this conversation for the first time, allow me just a moment to introduce you. Priyadarsini Govind is one of the foremost Bharatanatyam dancers among the current generation. Trained by two stalwarts, Kalaimamani S.K. Rajaratnam Pillai and Padma Bhushan Srimati Kalanidhi Narayanan, Priyadarsini has imbibed the art form literally from the best. With her natural aptitude for Abhinaya, coupled with her passion and dedication to her art, Priyadarshini has become a flag bearer for Srimati Kalanidhi's Padam repertoire. Her nritta or pure dance, those who watched and will agree certainly, is intense and vigorous. A dancer known for her adherence to tradition, Priyadarshini manages to seamlessly blend new choreography with the traditional, thereby gently redefining the boundaries of the Bharatanatyam repertoire. She's performed across the world, won awards and accolades aplenty that include the Nritya Kalanidhi from the Madras Music Academy 2019, Sangeet Natak Academy, Yuvakala Bharati, Kalaimamani, Nritya Chudamani, just to name a few. She served as the director of the Kalakshetra Foundation from 2013 until 2017. She's the founder and director of NavaDarshana, an initiative that teaches dancers to view dance holistically. Through its unique programs and activities, NavaDarshana enables a dancer to evolve into an artist by gently expanding their self-imposed boundaries to explore, create, and excel in their artistic journey. Priya, we are definitely going to be discussing this particular aspect. But before that, I was thinking about, how I must introduce you, not the bio that you shared with me. And the two words that really came to my mind are, when I think about you, almost always I think about two words, and they're both their beauty and resilience. These are the two words that I'm when I think of Priyadarsini Govind, these are the two words. And I found this beautiful quote, and it goes like, "She never seemed shattered. To me, she was a breathtaking mosaic of the battles she's won." Those who
How
know
sweet,
Priya,
Akhila. That's really sweet of you, really.
oh, you.
And that's really not the way I look at myself.
No, but beauty lies in the eye of the beholder, Priya. So anyway, so our session, as you know, is titled.
Thank you, really. Thank you for those beautiful words.
Most welcome. Pleasure's mine. Priya, you know, as the session is titled Margazhi and Beyond. So I'm going to start off firstly by, you know, I was thinking about usually this time of the year by August, everybody's sort of, you know, planning their items, their repertoire, and like thinking about what they want to perform, you know, booking their artists, co-artists, starting rehearsals, etc. This year is very different, right? Firstly, what are your thoughts about you know, the Margazhi season that will sort of unfold this year in a very, very different avatar, so to speak?
I think, I mean, not just the Margazhi season. I think, like most people, I have very mixed feelings about the whole thing. On one hand, you know, it's like something is happening and there's a new order. You know, our perception of Margazhi or of dance or of live performances, everything has changed, isn't it? Even our perception of working, you know, everything has changed. So there are, I mean, lives have been shattered on one side. On the other hand, our perceptions of how to practice, you know, what does dance mean to us? What is a performance? You know, what is a performance space? What is it going to be in the future? Where we are going? Everything is up. You know, there's a churning happening. So when I said mixed feelings, on one hand there is a lot of restlessness, and you know, there's so much sadness, you know, for something that has, you know, so many things have happened that have been earth-shattering. On the other hand, you know, a kind of a wondering what is going to happen, and there is a strange kind of excitement for me, for people like me. So I'm really looking to see where this is going, and in a way, for me, you know, this I have never been active on any kind of media, whether it's Facebook or and so this introduction to social media is very new for me, and that itself has been very exciting, and it is it's a new world, let me put it that way. On one side, you know, it's a new world, and I'd like to see where, you know, how I can discover the dance. For me, now it's like fresh.
Absolutely. Priya, personally, like just personally as a, you know, over the years, like with age, things change professionally and professionally. How has your relationship with the Margazhi season itself changed, right? I mean, I suppose in the early years of one's career, one is like, you know, to perform in the season is like it's like a validation of sorts. It's like you've arrived. I don't know. I suppose there are different kinds of you know, reasons that people feel that, you know, performing in the season is something, right? It's like, so how has your relationship as a dancer changed, or how has your relationship with Margazhi evolved over the years?
Yeah, it's like you said, you know, as a young dancer, you just long for that coveted slot in the main festival, and you know, it's like if you dance in one well-known sabha in the main performance, for you it's a huge milestone in your career. So it started like that, and then every year you have to up your performance, so that competitiveness for yourself, not necessarily with other people. So to present something more interesting, more challenging, unique. So you go through that, and then for me there was a stage when I there there was a stage when, especially just before I joined Kalakshetra, when I think that every year that routine was somehow becoming, monotonous, or let's say that I wanted something, I wanted a change, and Kalakshetra happened. And at that time, I thought I was ready to say, okay, now I'm done with that, and this is a new phase in my life. And to an extent, it has been true, in the sense that the kind of frenzy and the kind of frequency of performances and the kind of mad traveling and that single-minded obsession with performing, I don't think that is what I'm looking for now. But what I realized after I came out from Kalakshetra, that I missed performing. I really missed performing on stage. So I didn't miss the frenzy. I didn't miss the numbers that
one tries to achieve, right? Yeah.
I missed that connect with the audience. I missed that high you have on stage. I missed the practice that goes before a performance. So then to me, that became very special, right? Preparing for a performance, going on stage, and there was no pressure. And suddenly somewhere I felt I was not there to prove anything to anybody, least of all to myself. It was more enjoying the performance, enjoying performing. And in a way, it was a huge uphill struggle for me because, I was at the point where, I was actually relearning how to dance, both mentally, your body, the memory of your muscles, I had lost the muscle memory of dance.
Yeah.
So actually retraining yourself, all that was there. It was a huge challenge on one side.
Yeah.
But previously, I would have been very stressed out if I was not at that level of fitness. I was not, I had not done these number of rehearsals before a performance, or I didn't look fit. But I think somewhere something changed, and it became more about being there on stage, enjoying the performance, enjoying the process before you get on stage, and the connect with you.
So I think that's Priya, what was that shift? What was that transformation? What was that moment that kind of altered the way you sort of, perceived the idea of a performance itself?
I think the first performance that I did after I finished, it was in 2017. The first performance I did after a 4-year gap in the season, right? I hadn't performed for 4 to 5 years. And suddenly, even and I had not actually attended the Margazhi season, frequently like we used to. You know that, right? We were all in the thick of it, going from performance to performance, attending the lectures, and being very much a part of the scene, right? But I had not even done that. My life had been very different. So suddenly, I came and the world seemed to have changed, right? The scene seemed to have changed. And to an extent, people's perceptions seem to have changed, because I think tastes also, slowly there is an imperceptible change in taste. Yeah. So everything had, suddenly everything seemed new. And there was this, there was this kind of, I was uncertain, unsure, Also, I was struggling with my own fitness level. So before I went on to the stage, I was quite worried, I was quite worried. The moment I entered the stage, I don't know, something happened. I didn't feel I had to prove anything to anybody. For me, I was just happy to be performing. The fact that I hadn't done it for a long time showed me how much I really missed it. And it didn't matter. Nothing else mattered except that moment when you entered the stage. And I think that was the shift. It was just enjoying dancing. Yeah. That's all. Being on stage, connecting with people.
Right. Priya, you used 2 words that really kind of caught my attention. One was the word pressure and the other was the word of competitiveness, right? Would you think as a senior artist that, there is an inherent sense of competitiveness in the industry, at least as far as performances and opportunities to perform are concerned?
I think competition is very healthy, Akhila. I think it's very necessary, because unless it is not about being better, or people I should, I should do much better than the other person, or they are doing this, so let me be one up. I don't look at it like that. I think it's being the best that you can be.
You can.
So and for me, that is very important. But also being aware of what is happening around you, right?
Yeah.
Without allowing it to affect your content and your purpose and your goal and where you want to go. Because the moment you get anxious, the moment you feel pressured, the moment you feel stressed because somebody else is doing something and you feel that is working for them, right? I feel you lose your way. So I very deliberately, I think all through my years of performing, I very deliberately put blinkers on the negativity, because I felt it is important that you bring the best out of yourself. But watching things around you should influence you in a positive way. For me, that was more important, right? Rather than feeling bad that somebody else, I mean, that kind of competitiveness, I think, is not healthy for your growth. It's not about the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do, or being good, or being holier than thou. That's not what I mean. I feel at a very basic level, in your self-interest, right? Being positive about the influences around you and concentrating on what you can do best helps you more than anybody else.
Yeah. Have you always been like that, Priya? Like, I mean, or did the dance world teach you to sort of become that way?
Actually, I was not very focused in the beginning. I think that's the reason why I took such a long time to enter the dance field professionally.
That's true, yeah.
Because I always had too many interests.
Right.
I did a lot of things, and therefore I didn't know how to take one thing and focus on it. Right. So I think it was after a long time in my early 30s, literally 31, 32, when suddenly I think, I don't know why, things shifted in a sense that if I wanted, I had tried many things. So if I wanted dance, then I have to learn to concentrate. So it was then that focus happened. And when that focus happened, I don't know, I think maybe I'm by nature a very obsessive person. If there's one thing, everything, my whole concentration goes on that, and everything else fades. I cannot multitask. So
Yeah,
I
but
guess,
in a sense, you have multitasked, Priya. Like, I mean, you've raised children, and I know that you looked after your mother. Like, obviously, in a sense that you have multitasked, but you're saying within that multitasking, dance has been like your singular focus, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
It has.
Right. Priya, I was going to ask you that, what is your view of, the Margazhi festival going online? That was my first question. And the second part of that question is, don't you think there is an online Margazhi of sorts happening already?
I think you cannot say it's Margazhi. I think it's like seems to be 24/7, 12 months in a year, isn't it? I mean, so many things are happening online, and I'm seeing Aalaap every day, 100. Aalaap's presence is fantastic. Akhila, your energy and your the way that you use the medium, right? It's so important the way you do it and the ideas that you come up with. Fantastic, Akhila, really. And see, the Instagram and Facebook and all, the online medium is still very new for me. And I just feel that it is a fantastic medium, especially, I mean, each one has its own, advantages and potential. I feel Instagram, for instance, the kind of potential it has for short, focused content is fantastic. The way, that the one that we did with poetry, the one that we're doing with poetry, This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, but I just didn't find the platform, right? There are compositions which I have never found, like I never selected to perform on stage for various reasons. I mean, good or bad. But I'm able to use those kind of compositions, fabulous compositions, for Instagram, and it's just the right medium.
Just the right,
the kind of content that is possible, that short, and as I said, very focused and very different, isn't it?
Correct.
I think it's fantastic. The Margazhi going online, I don't know. I really honestly don't know, Akhila. I don't know what to expect, because I feel that if we are going to do the performances, if they're going to be presented the way we see them on stage, like if it's videographed or something and then shown, I don't know how different it is or what kind of an appeal, because the kind of stage performances we see depend on that connect with the audience, right? That live connect with the audience that cannot be replicated in a recorded performance.
For sure.
Isn't it? So I feel it's also the time for us to understand the medium and respond accordingly, right? So I feel even what you present in this medium, call it the Margazhi Festival or whatever you do, it has to be for the medium. It cannot be an application of what we do on stage.
Right? For sure.
So I think that there is a shift. It's not a Margazhi, it's not the Margazhi Festival the way we know it or the way we expect it.
Right.
But if we want a flavor of it, then the approach has to be to use the medium and try and get the flavor. There are many ways to do it. So
yeah, absolutely. The medium is the message, right? Yeah, absolutely. Priya, I have this question about, I mean, so many artists have been performing online and, even from maybe 5, 6 years ago to now, artists have become way more accessible. We know, like, where an artist shopped, where an artist, what an artist ate. Everything is just so accessible today, right? And artists have also been performing, talking, sharing, all of that. Sometimes do you think the online medium creates a sort of, if there is a word as such, overexposure for an artist? And does that overexposure in some sense, how does that affect the relationship between the artist and the audience? And for an audience that is consuming so much of an artist, how effective will a festival like Margazhi be when they're already seeing the same artist over and over again across different platforms? What are your thoughts? This is just something that I've been thinking about.
So Margazhi meaning you're talking about live performances or online?
Yeah, no, the Margazhi Festival online, I mean.
Yeah, okay. See, I find that there are audiences for everything, right? There is no, one kind of audience. And also it's very subjective. For instance, I am not, by nature, not very open to sharing everything that I do online, right? For me, content and that too, the kind of content is very important, right? Not just dance, but also it's not indiscriminate content. There is and actually, one thing I find most interesting is you can actually decide what kind of a personality you want seen by the audience.
Of course. Craft your,
Yeah, you can craft your, the way the audience sees you. So it's very subjective. If some artists like one particular way of projecting themselves, there is an audience for that too. Right? There are different audiences, and I think there's place for every kind of projection. And I find that especially on social scene, there is there nothing called overexposure, right? If people, people walk through it, the biggest thing is they can walk through your performance, isn't it? But at least there is one view that's happening as they pass through.
Along the way.
Challenge really lies in your content, how you're able to hold them. And I think that is what is important. It's very easy to bring them in. It's difficult to hold them.
Yeah, make them stay. Yeah. No, for sure, Priya. Priya, like you've just recently joined Instagram, right? Why did you do that? Like, what prompted you to finally kind of jump in?
Many reasons. Watching some of the posts, we were Apurva, Shweta, my daughter and I, my son, we were just watching some posts. And then I found it really interesting, the kind of posts and such variety, such different kinds of content. And that's when we were thinking, why not? This seems such a beautiful platform to showcase the kind of wealth, composition, repertoire that I have learned from Kalanidhi Mami, and plus many other things, right? So I why not?
Right.
This is content that is rare. This is content that is not easily a stick platform for that.
Right. Priya, how have you sort of recalibrated your relationship with dance through this lockdown? Like, what have been your key sort of takeaways as far as your dance is concerned? Yeah, I can see you now. Yeah. Priya, I can hear you. I can't hear you. Sorry. Can't hear you. Okay, let me bring Priya back in. Sorry. Yeah, I know, Swati. I'm just sorting that out.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can, Priya. Yeah.
So there's a sudden freeze. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Sort of. Yeah. Now I can hear you. Yeah. I can hear you, Priya.
Yeah.
I was just asking you, about how you have sort of, if at all, recalibrated your relationship with dance during this lockdown. What have been your key takeaways as far as dance is concerned during this time?
Yeah. So I think like a lot of people, right? Suddenly the pressure is off you, isn't it? Because literally the outside world is cut off and you are now in your own space with yourself, right? You're not, there is nothing else. There is nothing else. So then it becomes, dancing, reading, without pressure. There's no pressure to do anything. There's no pressure to perform. There is no pressure to, am I doing enough? As I said, the pressure level had come down quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I think the lockdown has completely, given a sense of relief.
Right.
You don't mean to be unfeeling. I've been luckier than a lot of people. But just to say that because you're alone, you're in a way cut off from the rest of the world. I'm talking about you. Of course, you're in touch with people virtually, but that kind of physical connect or the world that you're used to, that has changed. So I think that in a way has made me look at dance, made me look at dance, my own practice of the compositions I want afresh, whether it's pure dance, whether it's abhinaya, whether it's the kind of dance, kind of movements, whether it's the kind of compositions. There has been a shift. I know what will come out of
it. Yeah, I'm keen to know, like, when that pressure goes away, right? How does the dance itself change? You know, so if it's possible for, I'm keen for, because I know that a lot of dancers are listening to this, and I suppose different people have these shifts at different points in their lives. And I'm keen to know that when that pressure sort of goes away, the pressure to, you know, in a certain way perform for, you know, somebody, or the pressure of competition, when that kind of goes away, how does the dance shift? Can't hear you, Priya.
I think it becomes about discovery, because suddenly you are not you're not. Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can. Yeah, a little better.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Priya, this is okay.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah? Can you hear me?
No, Priya, I'm not able to hear you at all.
So suddenly, yeah.
Do you want to just change from Wi-Fi to data or something?
It becomes about discovery.
Breaking, yeah. It is breaking. For me too, Manjot. Such a bummer.
I think the connection.
Yeah. Hi, Priya.
Is that okay now?
Yeah, this is better. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not okay.
I think there's some problem with the connectivity. Hi. There's some problem with the connectivity. Sorry about that, Akhila. It's
No
beyond
problem.
my
It's fine. No, of
control.
course. I mean, I'm just able to hear you intermittently, Priya.
I don't know. My connectivity.
Yeah. Do you want to change settings from Wi-Fi to data, or just? Okay. Hi, Chris. Sorry, give me a second. Just waiting for Priya to join. I know. I hope she's able to hear us. Gosh, I start sweating now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Akhila?
I can. There's a lag, but I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay. I don't
Yeah,
know.
we can ignore that, Priya. That will settle on its own. You can just, at least as
Okay.
long as the audio is clear, it'll be great.
Just bad connection.
Yeah. Mm,
Yeah.
sort of.
Can you hear
Yeah,
me now?
it's a little better. Just go ahead, Priya. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I actually
No, I was
lost
asking
track.
you that, I asked you about when the pressure to perform, I mean, sort of goes away.
Yeah.
How does the dance change?
Yeah.
And how has, therefore, your dance changed? Just,
I think there's a lot. There's a sense of freedom, a sense of release, a sense of I think that joy, the sense of joy increases. For me, it's
yeah,
been like that.
yeah,
Just there are no constraints, no restraints. I'm not to tick off any box there. Just absolute pure pleasure, and that's what it's
right.
like.
And but then what is the role then of the audience, Priya? Because in a certain way, the a performer is also connecting with an audience, right? But if you're actually saying that the pressure to perform is gone, then I'm curious to understand what's the dynamic that you will therefore share with the audience.
No, I'm not. Yeah. See, it's the pressure. It's not a pressure that the audience puts
Yeah,
on. The audience is there to enjoy what you have to offer. The audience is there to participate in the experience, isn't it? The audience is not there to put pressure on. But I think as an artist, I don't speak for anybody else. I speak for myself because there are certain things that you expect of yourself, that you want your technique to be like that. You want the response to this composition like that. You want everything
yeah,
perfect. You want
yeah,
it to be par excellence, isn't it?
yeah,
So that's the pressure
yeah,
you put on yourself. It's
right.
not the audience. So for me, in a way, pressure. I was more forgiving. It's more about myself being more. The audience doesn't matter, or audience in front of me or not. I would be doing it in my. But for me, the thrill is to dance on a stage, right?
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
the thrill, and that is any experience for me. It's not about the walls of my house and enjoying it at
right,
all. So when
right,
I go on stage, the lack of pressure that I put on myself
right.
and the ability for me to enjoy both the performance and the audience
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
So
Priya, I remember that when we did the Sayujya thing in Bombay and then CPA.
can you hear
Yeah, I
me,
can hear you,
Akhila?
Priya. Can you hear
Yeah.
me? Okay. So I remember that I always think of you as somebody who's sort of, okay. So,
Yes,
I
I
think
can.
of you as somebody who kind of like powers through. I remember that in Sayujya, you had just landed like early morning and then you went straight for a rehearsal and then you performed in the evening. I mean, do you think that you'd ever be able to go back to that kind of a routine, or you feel like that was a life that was? I mean, in a certain way, like, I always think of you as somebody, I know that you were sick that day, but you still like performed. I know your sisters told me that you just never ever like give up on a practice session, irrespective of, how that kind of discipline. Like, so therefore, what I'm curious is, by virtue of that pressure gone, have you kind of has it also taken that load off these other things that you were kind of putting on yourself, like sort of powering through it all?
The thing is, yeah, I lived a mad life, right? Always, and I also found that I performed very well under pressure,
Yeah,
meaning that I would feel very sick. I would be like, we would have had an hour's sleep, but that evening's performance, just I
yeah,
in front of the
yeah,
audience, it was a different
yeah,
feeling. So that whether I would do that now, um, it was a different life. Uh, it was a different life, and I think that the kind of adrenaline that it gave me and the kind of energy that I had then was very different.
yeah,
It's okay. I don't hanker after
yeah,
it, right? Sometimes, yeah, but it's a choice not to
yeah,
live like that. I don't know whether I do that kind of very pressured
right,
lifestyle anymore. But on the other hand, it's a different kind of a joy that I have. Different. I have definitely rehearsals, practice, being very focused in terms of practice and working towards a performance or working on compositions. That, of course, there
no
is no
compromise.
compromise on that. That doesn't change. But being more forgiving to yourself in terms of, I had a very style in terms of diet, in terms of discipline,
Yeah,
and those kind of things,
right,
right? I'm a lot more relaxed now, right? And a lot more indulgent, self-indulgent. Uh, but so I think those kind of things, and I feel now it's important to enjoy little things. A lot of times I used to feel that when I was traveling, like I never
to
stopped
smell
to
the
smell the
flowers. Yeah,
roses,
yeah,
right? For me, it was going from one performance to another, feeling one audience to another. When I finished this, okay, the
yeah,
next one, right? So it was about that. I never stopped to really enjoy the moment. That is the moments performances.
right,
That never happened.
yeah,
Yeah, but now I feel now everything is important.
right.
So that time that I want to give myself to enjoy everything. And
What is Navadarshana's distinct sort of voice? Like, why is it different from other initiatives that dancers have?
NavaDarshana.
Yeah, what is its distinct voice, Priya? Like, why is it sort of, different? Or what is it trying to do? And why should a student be part of the Navadarshana community? Like, what is what is its uniqueness in that sense?
Okay. So, I feel that, training yourself to be an artist or growing to be an artist is really a process. It's not about learning 1 items or 10 items. It's not about learning an item in 3 days or, performing it the fourth day. No, it's a
Yeah,
process. And when you learn a composition, you learn it in its entirety, and you learn the rhythmic aspect of it, you learn the historical aspect of it, you learn the situation, you learn about the characters, you learn about how you deal with it, with your body, with your mind. There are so many aspects to learning, isn't it? So I feel that learning itself is a very deep, enriching process,
hmm,
and you have to give it the time, and you have to give it the focus, and you have to concentrate on that. It is not instant.
yeah,
So NavaDarshana, in a way, that's what it's what we want to understand. The process of learning has to be fun, has to be deep, has to be a 360-degree focus. The view has to be from all sides. Also, we'd like it to, because it's online, it's now online is also possible, isn't it? So we want to make it a platform where all kinds of resource is available. I mean, that's the fantastic thing about online, isn't it? You don't have to physically be in the same city as the resource person. Be that platform which can bring different kind of very special kinds of resource persons, different, to make it accessible to as many people as possible. And I feel that today, more than ever, as a community, we have to, as a dancer, I have to have a very strong sense of community, isn't it?
Absolutely,
We are a fraternity and a part of it. And, we may have different approaches, we may have different opinions, we may have varied opinions, but it doesn't matter. It should be a healthy discussion. There is room for everybody. There is room for questions. There is room for different opinions. So basically, for me, a community feeling is very important, right? As a dancer, I feel that we have to stand up for each other and we have to have each other's back. And in a way, the NavaDarshana is, I would like it to be a community, right? And bringing in all kinds of people, not just as resource persons, those who have a thirst for knowledge, those who want to meet different kinds, to be part of a movement. We'd like to know, as a dancer, I would like to know where I come from, who my ancestors are, where is this dance from, where is it today, where am I going? And all kinds of discourses are important, isn't it? It has to be inclusive. It has to be, withstanding, with compassion. It has to be with a sense of community. So I think NavaDarshana is something that, for me, should be a platform like that.
Right. Do you wish, Priya, that there was a NavaDarshana of sorts when you were growing up?
Akhila, the connection is so bad.
No problem, Priya. I was just asking you, do you wish that there was a NavaDarshana of sorts when you were growing up? I mean, like when you were a young dancer, perhaps?
I think as a young, I think these Natyakala conferences and these many the Margazhi Masam gave us a sense of, right? It was different then. I still remember the kind of camaraderie we all shared. We all came from different teachers, but it was a moment of, the common purpose. There was a common love or passion we shared when we met each other during performances. It didn't matter that we never saw each other apart outside of the Margazhi festival, but I think the Margazhi season gave us that sense of community and the sense of shared passion and love. So there has always been, but now because online is the way to go, way forward, the way of the language of today.
Right.
I think this is even larger than what it was.
Yeah, absolutely. Priya, there's one question about from Isha who says, Namaskara Akka, what advice would you have for young adults who find it difficult to balance college/career with dance?
Uh, College and a career with dance, is it? Okay.
Yes,
So,
that's right.
I think it depends on what kind of a role you want dance to play in your life, isn't it?
That's
Balancing depends on how much of importance you want to give
yeah,
each.
yeah,
So you will find your balance if you decide what role
that
dance plays in your life. If
absolutely.
dance is going to be a profession, I don't think there really is. You can't
Yeah,
have something else to do dancing as a
right,
profession,
right.
because it requires a lot of effort, your concentration, and your focus 24/7. I don't think it's possible. I don't think you can
Right.
have an alternate career and dance. If you want dance as something to give you happiness,
Yeah,
while
absolutely.
you have a career that is your
Yeah,
sustenance,
yeah.
in,
Then,
in terms of financial sustenance and a career for your life, then I
yeah,
think then
yeah,
that's easy to balance, isn't
yeah,
it? But if you
yeah,
want to dance professionally, I don't think you can have an alternate career.
yeah. Priya, sorry. The thing is that there is a lag. So after you speak, I am just listening to the comments. So that is why, like, you're waiting and I'm just listening. The voice is coming, like, audio is coming much later. That is why. Priya, so I'm going to end this conversation now because there's too much, there's too much, there's one, okay. There's a question, but Suhasini, I promise I will ask Priyaka to answer that later. So I'm really sorry about that. Priya, thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm so sorry about, I wish that we didn't have these internet connectivity issues. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye, Priya. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who joined. And sorry that the internet played havoc today. Thank you. Bye-bye.